All right. So welcome everybody to our official first podcast of On the Road Trucking. I'm here with Mel.
Hi.
Myself, I'm Rima. So first off, let's thank Carl and Francis.
Totally.
So Carl and Francis, as everyone knows, from On the Road Quebec, who do a fantastic job for the French podcast, have given us the opportunity to host the English version, On the Road Trucking. So a little bit about, first, thank you. I don't know if you want to say a little word to Carl and Francis.
Oh, hi, Carl and Francis. First of all, like Rima just said, thank you for giving us the opportunity to carry on the English podcast of On the Road Quebec that is now going to be On the Road Trucking. So we want to be as good as both of you are right now.
Or better.
Or better. Yeah, we can do better.
Yeah, so thank you for entrusting us with this responsibility. Two women versus two men for On the Road Quebec. So I think you guys are going to have more fun with On the Road Trucking. We're going to be, what's great about it is On the Road Quebec brings a lot of great subjects for the trucking industry. But obviously French will deal with a French audience. So we're bringing you an English content, lots of great subjects. And we invite you guys all to send us messages on our Facebook page if ever there's subjects you want us to cover. On the Road Trucking,
Exactly.
like us, follow us.
For sure. Thank you also to our sponsors to sponsor this podcast.
Yes. So the sponsor, we have Women's Trucking Federation of Canada. So those are one of our sponsors. Thank you very much. We have Wallace Transportation for all your logistical transportation needs. And Total Energies, who have engine oils, greases, anything you need for your trucks, automobiles. So check us out. And thank you all. If you are wanting to sponsor our podcast, don't hesitate to send us a message. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep. So, well, I'll let you start with who are you, Rima?
Who is Rima?
Who is Rima?
I am the marketing and communications manager at Total Energies. So what we do is we manufacture engine oils, lubricants, and greases. We have our facility in LaSalle. So all our products, or 98% of our products, are actually manufactured here in Quebec. Canada, which is exactly Canada. So really important. And it's something we're very proud of. So we bring you some Canadian products. And then we have a European line as well that will import from Total Energies Europe. So I'm responsible for all the communication. I thank On the Road Trucking and On the Road Quebec for giving us the opportunity to talk to you guys about our subjects. And so how about you, Mel? Tell us a little about you. Have a big history in the industry. I'm from Total Energies, been a little over a year, but you got a lot of experience in the trucking industry.
So for people that actually don't know me, my name is Mélanie.
There might not be many.
No, exactly.
You're very well known.
So I am the co-founder of Empress Creation, basically. So we do marketing, clothing, promotional products. But before being with Empress Creation, I was a compliance and a training director, basically. So I did train about 12,000, maybe 15,000 drivers between 2016 and 2025 to actually use their e-logs. So when ELD came in the US in 2016, basically, it started in 2016, law came in 2017, you needed to go from paper to electronic log, which is a big transitions for companies. So I did help about 1,000 transportation fleets to pass from paper to electronic under ELD. So I was very present in the industry of transportation and I always loved it. So now what's fun with Empress is we actually help transportation companies to launch their brand and bring their image somewhere else. There's a lot of old companies that had old logos, old brandings. Now we're bringing it to the new vibe.
So you bring not only a lot of great merchandise, but you also have that, you follow them through their whole rebranding, advising, anything to do with marketing and their image.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Which is really funny right now because it's our first podcast with On the Road Trucking, right? And as two marketing girls, we actually completely forgot to bring roll-ups.
Yes. There's no branding right now, as you'll see on whether it's YouTube or watching us. But
it's coming.
Total bad. But that is our first podcast and we'll learn. So yeah, that's That's a little funny tidbit, our little blooper.
It's okay. It happens. It's like that sometimes. I think that's what's about also the transportation industry. You never know what's going to be happening soon, right? So you can't plan ahead some things. So it's the same thing in marketing for us. It happens.
Yes. So hopefully you guys are going to be entertained for the next hour or so. And again, on just more admin subjects, I'll call them. If you guys are looking for any job opportunities, we do on the road, Quebec and on the road trucking do hold some job fairs across Quebec. There are 2 coming up.
There's 3 coming up.
3 coming up?
Yeah. The first one is in Lévis in Quebec City. It's on March 15. So there's the job fair there. There's still, I think, a couple of places for transportation fleet if they want to expose and have a kiosk there. But we for sure invite all of the transportation industry to come and go at the job fair. It's one of the only job fairs actually that is, how do we say it? I'm looking for my words.
You can say it in French and I'll translate.
C'est spécifié dans l'industrie.
Oh, it's a very specific, specialized in transportation. And I can attest to it myself. We joined as Total Energies. We had a booth. We wanted to, even though our products really have nothing to do with, it wasn't really for hiring. We wanted to meet these people and meet our fellow in the industries. And I have to say it is quite impressive, the amount of people who come to the show, come to the salon, and the different exhibitors, as well as the students, and it's really well organized. So good job on Francis and Carl. They do a great job, and they bring it across the region. So you were saying Lévis is one of them. So that's the one coming up.
Other one is going to be on the South Shore of Montreal. It's in La Prairie on April 5th.
Okay.
And after that, in November, we're going in Laval, which is going to be November 1st.
My neck of the woods.
Oh,
yes.
So
good.
Different type of people also. It's not the same type of jobs, I think, as transportation. Sometimes on the South Shore, if you're in Quebec, or if you're in Laval, depending on the region that you actually are located, there's different transportation companies, right? So they don't always do...
It's not the same. You're not going to see the same people.
Exactly. It's not the same people. It's not the same exhibitors. But it's not the same also type of careers that you're going to have. Like sometimes maybe if you're more in Quebec, there's a lot of companies that are going to go over... to
cover different,
cover different regions. Exactly.
Yeah.
So whatever you're looking for. There's a lot of people there.
And you can go see Mel. I know she's at every one of them.
Oh, yeah.
We'll try to be at every one of them as well for Total Energies, but definitely stop by, say hi to her. I'm sure she'll be happy to see you guys.
Empress Creation basically does all the branding of on-the-road trucking and on-the-road Quebec. So we actually have a boutique that we bring there so people can choose like hoodies, T-shirts, and we actually do them on site.
Oh, that's great.
Every time we always launch something new because I think that's...
Are you going to give a sneak peek of your next new...
We actually have a new... Well, every year we do a special edition. So last year we did a black camo hoodie, which was very popular. This year we did an orchid hoodie. Yeah, it's really nice. I think something that was really nice with the special editions is like people actually...
They want them because
they want them.
It's like
special.
a collectible.
Exactly. So they're different collections, different colors that we always bring. But sometimes men, they always want to go black and white.
Yes.
Right? Or gray.
But I have to say, I see the men sporting the different colors.
Totally.
I mean, this is such a girl thing to talk about.
I know.
But it's true. They sport all the like bright colors. So it's really nice to see, especially at the shows.
Yeah, exactly. So different people. And don't hesitate to actually get out of your comfort zone. It is important. It is part of your image. And be proud of it. That's what we say. So we brought the orchid color because we actually have men that wear it, and we want them to get out of that zone. So,
but they're so comfortable as well. I mean, I'm waiting for mine, but just saying.
Oh, next time next time we're actually gonna have a on the road trekking hoodie. We'll maybe have a new edition.
Nice, maybe a new color.
That would be nice.
So again, let's let you guys know. Don't hesitate. Follow us. Let us know of any subjects you want us to cover for any future podcasts. We'll be pretty much one a month. So you can hear from us at least one time a month.
Maybe more. Maybe if we have more subjects. We'll see.
Yeah.
Interesting guests.
Exactly. And today's guest is a really important one, I'd have to say, one of our sponsors as well.
Yep.
So we have Shelley.
Shelley Walker.
Walker, exactly.
From the Women's Trucking Federation of Canada.
Yes. So we're going to be covering some really interesting topics. I have to say we hear about them in the media, and I'd love to hear her side of things. So we're going to get some really good insight from Shelley. We're going to be tuning in through a Zoom call.
Yep. So we'll take a short break.
Yes.
And we will connect back with you guys after the break.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Total Energies sees motorsport as a platform to showcase innovative solutions. Biofuels, lubricants, EV fluids, battery cells, hydrogen. We're developing technologies for sustainable mobility. Exilium Racing 100, our 100% certified sustainable fuel, which was introduced in the World Endurance Championship in 2022, has also been available since last year in the GT World Challenge Europe. Another new partnership with Yamaha means that we can offer its official MotoGP and World Superbike teams a 40% non-fossil racing fuel. Furthermore, we're continuing our commitment to the European Truck Racing Championship with HVO 100, a biodiesel made exclusively from renewable sources. Electric and hybrid technologies are also the focus of our attention. In the Formula E World Championship, we provide DS Penske with a water-based lubricant which maximises both power and autonomy. While the Opel Electric Rally Cup benefits from our Quartz EV fluid range. We also innovate in the field of electric batteries, thanks to the expertise of our subsidiary Saft. The cells of the Peugeot 9X8's battery are directly immersed in a cooling fluid. And because the future of mobility is also long-term, we are supporting the Mission H24 Hydrogen project, while providing our multi-energy expertise to help the 24 Hours of Le Mans achieve carbon neutrality by 2030. We are Total Energies, and our carbon-free motorsport vision will take you towards sustainable mobility.
So welcome back to the On the Road Trucking podcast. We are very happy to have a guest with us today.
First official guest.
And it's fun because it's a woman also.
Yes.
So we're going to be having Shelley Walker from the Women Trucking Federation of Canada.
Really excited to talk to her today.
Exactly. So, Shelley, welcome to our first On the Road Trucking podcast.
Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me today, ladies. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Well, we are very happy, as she mentioned, to have you here on our podcast. I guess it's important. We want to know a little bit about you. If you want to do a quick intro.
Well, I'm Shelley Walker, and I am the CEO of the Women's Trucking Federation, and I am also the CEO of the No Human Trafficking Campaign. I've been a professional driver for over 30 years. And I started this organization in about 2016 because I felt there wasn't enough opportunities for women to network and learn and grow from each other.
That is great.
Yes, because you know what? Being the two women on the podcast, I feel it's so important to highlight women in the industry. There are so many, and they deserve the right to be heard and seen and treated equally. So we're really excited for the podcast today with you.
Exactly. It's fun also because women in transportation, it's not just being a truck driver. It's so much more than that. There's a lot of women that are and have different positions basically in the transportation industry.
That's very true, Melanie. But unfortunately, that doesn't seem to get out, right? Our children are not hearing about all the opportunities within the trucking industry, and that we're so much more than just driving behind the wheel of a truck or being under the hood fixing an engine. So I think it's, these type of podcasts and the shout-outs that we do and the bonds and collaboration that most of us try to do push that forward. And hopefully we can get more companies to realize. It never amazes me how many women that are in this industry that are so wanting to go into schools and talk to young teenagers and the kids in public school and teach them about our industry. But the problem stems from their companies. Companies don't want to let them do it because it's going to require a few hours off of work, right? So we need to change that mentality.
Totally. Well, even if I can talk about myself, for me, when I was younger and going to school, transportation was like driving a truck. I had no clue that there were so many job opportunities in transport, basically. And I would love to hear about like other women that, like even you, like Rima, how did you learn about transportation? What made you, Shelley, being a truck driver and a woman in transportation? Where did that passion come from?
My dad was a truck driver. So at a very young age, I was bouncing around in a transport. And back in those days, there were no sleeper berths. And when my dad parked for the night, he slept on a board going between the two seats. And I would curl up with a comforter and pillows and I would sleep on the floor because nothing would stop me from going out in the truck with my dad.
That's awesome.
It creates so much best and like the best souvenirs, Yeah. Even if it was not comfortable.
But I have to say, I've never been in a truck until last year working at Total Energies. We went to the trucking show in Ontario and I was like, I got to get into one of these trucks. I've never seen the interior. You see the outside. It's great. I went inside and I was like, I want to be a truck driver. It was so cool. It's a little home. You're driving your truck. You got your bed in the back. It is absolutely beautiful. I know not all trucks are like that, but it is like it's just, I was impressed with the interior of the trucks. And being a very stereotypical industry of that's it, men, it's nice to have that, vision and open up people's eyes to, hey, women can do anything in the industry, whether it's truck drivers, mechanics, behind the phones, whether any job is possible. So very excited.
Well, and I like the fact that our industry has opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
Right. So you may start off somewhere, maybe you start off in the wash bay as a teenager. And get into the warehouse, or maybe you get into data entry. You can move up, right? You can move into safety roles. You can move into HR roles, maybe possibly get your license. Like where we can go within the sector is amazing. And it doesn't matter how bad our economy gets. We always need the trucking industry.
Yes,
totally. It's the most, I think, well, how can I say this in a good way? You're never going to have no job if you're working in transport. Everything passes through transportation. Yep. Everything you hold in your hands, everything you eat, everything. And we need people to work in transportation. And it's fun that we actually bring women in it too also. And we think differently. Yep. We bring, I think, another way of seeing stuff. And it makes the world just basically innovate.
Yep.
And bring in, like, we can talk about technologies. Like you were saying, there's, the mechanic part. Yes, there's the driving part, but there's
so much more.
So much more.
Yeah. And so the Women's Trucking Federation of Canada, I mean, it brings a whole new light and it's great to have that organization. And I want to hear more about the roles, the missions of this organization.
So we're very big on promoting and encouraging not just women, but our youth into the trucking industry. We do a lot of career fairs across Ontario. We also are a partner with the Skills Ontario Young Women's Initiative. So the one thing we like about that is getting into the schools. And we've been able to bring in other women from across the country in by Zoom to these classes.
That's great.
So to talk about what our industry is. So that's really important. I'm an also big believer in, and I'm sure you ladies see the news just like I do. I'm tired of all the negativity in our industry. I'm tired of seeing all the accident pictures, the call outs on social media. I think it's time that we need to start focusing a little bit more on the positive. I'm not telling you or saying that what people are doing is wrong, but we need to take a better approach, because those type of things only encourage the general public about how bad we really are. And they don't understand that it's only a small fraction. They paint us all with the same brush.
Yeah. Well, I think we're in a world that is way too easy to go on negativity. Yeah. And, everything, there's so much positive things about transportation. So much. And we should actually talk about it more, propose it everywhere. Just having hey, good job. My driver did this today. And because he did this is what the population is having. And instead of having, there's another accident and it was caused by a truck, which is not always true.
It's not. It's media. That's media for you. What people want to or what they think people want to hear, or to make sort of a story go viral, is all negative. Let's just bring the negative, the stories of whether it's accidents or see what this truck passed this line and did this. But you know what? I'm glad that we have the opportunity with On the Road Trucking to bring the positive side of things, and having you on the podcast today and talking about the positive side of the industry and the great things your organization is bringing to it. And I hope we can do more of this.
Totally.
Yeah, it is. And it's so important that we focus on that. And, I try to tell drivers, like, our voices are stronger when we're together.
It is.
Right. And so let's push for positive change. Let's show the positive side of our industry. I'm noticing a lot lately. Some of the provinces are, when they're doing inspections and drivers are getting they've passed inspection, and they're taking pictures of them with their trucks and of putting the sticker on their truck. And, they're posting that to their socials. So I think it's important, right? And, we can't, and I think we all do it. We make a snap judgment based on a picture that we see.
Yeah.
Human nature,
let's
right?
wait to hear two stories. And I have to say, I have dealt with public media, with mainstream media. And, I will do an interview for 30 minutes, which they clip down into 2 minutes. And I often sit there and go, but that's not what I said. They spin it to their own way.
Yep.
So people need to keep that in mind. But we have so many amazing things going on. And some of the drivers, their trucks are to die for. I love going to the truck shows. I'm big on that. I used to take my own truck all the time. There's nothing like taking pride in your ride. The chrome, the lights, everything that we do, and we connect as family at that function. Right? It is like one big brotherhood and sisterhood at those truck shows.
Yeah.
So we need to bring more of that back, and more of that positive energy back throughout the whole industry.
Yeah. Well, it's like a family.
It is.
When you're at these shows and you have everybody with their trucks parked outside or inside the exhibition, it's like a big family.
It is. And it's always fun to I love seeing everybody washing their trucks. Like if it's their babies, they need to wash it out to make sure that it's like clear.
Yeah. Crystal clean,
exactly.
Pristine.
Seeing them take pictures in front of their own truck, they're proud of it, and I love that. And like you said, we should actually promote the fact that they're having this pride.
For sure.
So you said
yes.
You had a truck, right?
And I'm trying to get more women to come out to these truck shows.
Well, then listen,
get
guys.
More women out there.
That's it. Listen to this podcast. Come to the shows. It's honestly, as a woman, and Mel, I know you've been to so many shows. It is fantastic. There's so much there, whether it's a general just trucking show, employment, there is so much for women, and women cannot just say, you know what? No, it's not my industry. I won't fit in. Come and check it out.
It's so much more than just driving. It's so much more than just driving. It's being part of the family, having on the other side of being a woman in transport. How did you start, the Women Trucking Federation, basically? You said it a bit earlier, but what made you have the guts to actually start this up?
There was 3 of us ladies that were tossing the idea around with us. And then it ended up being just down to me. That continued on. And I wasn't sure about doing it. And I must say that my husband and my father really pushed me to do this. They said, you have to do this. You are such a positive advocate for women in the transportation industry. And, I'm very involved in safety stuff, in training, and what we put out on our roads. And I was a driver trainer. My last trainee was my husband, and who became my permanent teammate in the truck. So I had some more training days. But yeah, so there's I love this industry, the good, the bad, the ugly part of it. But I believe the bad and the ugly we can change if we all work together. So that's kind of how we got started on this. And I wanted to meet more women, not just drivers. I wanted to meet the upper C-class people. I wanted to find out who's the face behind the recruiter. Right? And I think that that's important because women, I find we have more patience, we're more empathetic, and we're safer. Right? Yeah. We're safer in what we do, whether that's on the road driving a truck or whether you're in the office or the warehouse or a mechanic. We're safer at what we do. It's proven fact. And we are more, we'll probably go into an office and say, look, I've got a problem and I don't feel that this is safe. Is there some way we can change this?
We talk about it, right?
Yes.
We just go heads up and say, hey, this is an issue. Let's fix it.
Exactly.
Right? Whereas our male counterparts, they soak it up and they soak it up and they soak it up. And then they just walk into the office, they blow up and they quit usually and walk out the door. That doesn't solve anything. No. We need more women in there. And I got to say, from talking to a lot of high school students and grade 7 and 8 students, they don't see enough women in those roles. They don't hear from women in those roles. And when you start talking to those that are the Gen Z generation, if they walk into an office for an interview and there's more men than women, they really don't want the job. They don't want to work there. Right? So, when we talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, it's for everyone. And I think this is not just an industry problem, but it's a world problem now. We've put so much focus on race, gender, religion, politics. Bottom line is we're all human. We all bleed red.
Who is the person that you're talking to? It's not like everything you just said. It's like it's a human being.
Yep.
We're all equal at the end, right?
It's just that it's sad in a way that we have to constantly say it and constantly bring it up and make people realize, don't forget, we're all the same. It doesn't matter, like you said, color of skin, nationality, women, men. At the end of the day, we're all the same. And just being able to have a voice for the women is fantastic. So I just want to say thank you. That's just a simple thank you for what you've done. And you talking about the youth and the kids that you meet and their impressions of the industry, you're changing the future for women in this industry.
We're trying to.
Well,
we're trying to.
One step at a time.
I can tell you the first year. Yes, I could tell you the first year we were at Skills Ontario, because we do their big competition. So we'll be there again this year in May. We asked students, what do you know about the trucking industry? Rollovers, wheel offs, accidents. Those are what they list. And I will say to them, and we have pictures, we have albums there. I'll go, do you know trucking, how much we give back to the community? We do stuff for cancer. We do, and I flipped through this book showing them all these trucks and truck drivers at these events and the companies that hold these events. And they're like, I didn't know that.
Nobody knows it.
I didn't. Right. And that's the thing. So I try to tell companies, start promoting the good that you do. Start showing the pictures of you giving back to the community, because that goes a long way with our youth, because it makes them want them to learn more. I know we have to promote the business aspect of what we do, but you also need to promote the community activism that you're involved in.
Mm-hmm. I think in 2025,
as well as this is
exactly. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to cut you up. Like, I think it is important. People see always the same thing, but nothing comes and reach us more than seeing a person doing something. Mm-hmm. So we should really promote, like, even if it's just once a week, say, hey, this person did this, and
highlight them.
Yeah, yes. Highlight them. And let's maybe try to put more positive media on social medias and have them say, I'm proud of doing this. This is this person. He did this as an amazing job this week. And it could be about anything. Just promote the human being behind the transportation and behind the business that you are. And I think as a marketing person, it's the best marketing you can actually do, and go reach a lot more people right now.
Because it's real.
It's real. We should do a reel on that.
It is, and you know, when I'm talking to just the general public or people here in my local community, they're so tired of all the negativity they see. They are outwardly looking for positive stuff right now. Right?
Yeah.
Like they said, I can't stand watching the news anymore. Like it's too bad for my mental health. You know, where do I go to find positivity? Well, you'll find a positive message on the WTFC page.
I was going to say,
yeah, exactly.
That's what I was going to say. You should check out the page, look at the content, because that's positive messaging. So definitely, I mean, you spoke about teaching, and I want to know a bit more of the training to become a truck driver in Ontario. So what aspects should be changed or improved in that aspect?
Truck training right across this country needs a whole overhaul.
Okay.
A total overhaul. And, you know, the part of the problem is we have not enough enforcement on our roads. There is not enough auditors and enforcement to go in and check out these schools. And they're popping up all over the place. It's too easy for them to, oh, here's my melt. This is what I'm teaching, and put it into the government to get approval. You know, there is 107 truck driving schools in Peel region alone in this province.
Really?
You tell me why we need that many?
That's it. That is surprising.
Yeah. In post melt, we had 80 truck driving schools in the province of Ontario. Now we're at 260.
Wow.
Why so much?
Yeah. It's just that anybody can, like you said, it's so easy for them to just say, I'm a trainer.
Yeah. Well, yes. We should. But I actually did a lot of compliance and ELD training basically for the last 8 years. And I saw people hearing about or having like training from another school or whatever, or trying to understand something in a way. But like, I think what you said is very important. There's so much way of doing training. And people understand what they want to understand. This is very important to say. And I'm sure you can actually relate to that. Whenever you're doing training, people understand maybe 10 or 15% of, or not understand, but like they remember. Absorb like, maybe 10 or 15%. So imagine you only have one training about a certain thing and you never have training back again. How are you going to understand or remember the 85% you didn't actually understand as well, like properly?
Well, and I think the big misconception is people think they're going to truck driving school. So when they're done, that's it. They got their license.
I'm good.
Yes,
ready.
I'm a truck driver now. I'm ready to hit the road. What they fail to understand is they are taught bare minimum and just enough to pass the road test.
But that's scary.
They have to go to, yes, it is. They have to go to a good carrier with a good finishing program to finish them off. And because of insurance regulations, that limits the pool, right? So the whole system needs an overhaul. You know, people talk all the time. I see it everywhere, driver shortage. And I want to pull my hair out. No, we do not have a driver shortage. We have a shortage of professional, skilled drivers. is what we have a shortage of. We have to look at retention, right? Professional drivers are hanging up their keys every day. Why? Because the roads are unsafe, right? Nobody wants to hear that, right? We often hear this phrase. So Ontario has the safest roadways in all of North America. Okay, stop counting the municipal roads in there. Just say highways. We have the worst highways for accidents. Look at the stats coming out. And if we had, instead of OPP stats and MTO stats and local stats, if they were all in one spot, I think those would be some very scary numbers.
I never thought about that.
Right. And we also have to understand when they do stats on a lot of them for commercial vehicles, that includes dump trucks. That includes the landscaping guy that's got the commercial sticker on his truck. So it's not all big trucks. Yeah. So I would really like to see them divide that up by class. Right. So we know where the problems are. But I think, I like to say to companies is start backing your drivers up. Right? We've got elections going on right now. Have you heard anywhere federally or even out of the province of Ontario, anybody that's dealing with transportation and the amount of accidents and death that are on our roadways? It's not even on anywhere. Nobody wants to talk about it. Right? And it's like, we need to talk about it. And this is the ideal time for people to voice their concerns, right? And make government hopefully listen to what we have to say, because all of our voices are stronger together.
That's true. You know what's great about...
And I often say...
Sorry. I was just going to say... it's
one more
fun.
thing.
Yeah, you go.
One more thing I often say is that the trucking industry needs to stop waiting on government legislation to do stuff. We know what's wrong with the industry. We can fix it on our own.
What I was going to say is basically I find it very interesting talking to you because, yes, you're maybe part and representing women in transportation, but the message that you're passing is so much more powerful than just being like representing women, because you're talking also as the
trucking industry.
The trucking industry. And it's fun to see that it's a woman that is passing that message, but that message is for everybody. And thank you, honestly, because I think your message is very powerful. And the way that you bring it up it's the truth, right? And people don't want to talk about those real subjects, those hot subjects.
Yeah. But as you said, we can all make a difference. So you got to start somewhere. And you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you. And I think it's important too that, a lot of people understand that maybe listening is that we're more than just about women. Yeah. We don't discriminate against anybody. 30% of our membership are men that are very, very supportive of women in the industry. And we are involved in all kinds of government talks. So whether it's at the provincial level or the federal level, we've been involved in the milk consultations in Ontario, in Alberta, in BC. We do stuff on the federal level. We've done a lot with, I've actually been in front of the standing committee in Ottawa on human trafficking issues and how it affects our sector. Because believe it or not, labor trafficking is the misclassification of drivers is labor trafficking.
That's an interesting subject that I'd like to get into. Tell me a little bit about the human trafficking and just how it affects the industry. Give us your input. This is a subject I think is going to be, it's a good one. And we might be talking about this for a while.
Yeah.
Human trafficking affects everybody. And I think the biggest thing is that when you look at it, there's not a whole lot of data. There's very limited data. But when you look at it, 91% of survivors of human trafficking know their trafficker.
What?
Yes, it's a family member, it's a friend, it's a business associate. I mean, look at it this way. How often, and more so for A lot of guys in construction, those type of industries, it hits the summer months and you invite all the guys from your crew over on a Friday night after work for some beers because, hey, it's going to be the weekend. And your kids are running around in the yard. So they meet these people, right? We teach our children not to talk to strangers, but you've brought them into your home. You've introduced them so they are no longer a stranger. So when they come up to your child later on, right, and say, oh, how's everything going? And the child says things are rough, talks about problems maybe with dad or mom. That's how and then they start grooming them and luring them right in. And the next thing you know, your child is gone.
That's scary. Yeah, it is really scary. It hits home. A lot of people have kids, have nieces, nephews, friends' kids. And it's not just kids either. So.
No, it's not. And right now, the youngest age bracket is 9 years old.
Oh, my God.
But that's 9 years old.
That's great.
Right? That's, these traffickers are stealing our babies.
Yeah. And what can what can we do to have people more vigilant? And are there any signs we can help people look for? Or, because this to me it's, as I mentioned, a scary subject. Some people just want to ignore it, pretend it doesn't exist because that's easier.
Yes.
But it's something that we should be talking about. People should be open about talking about it. So everybody, even your kids, understand what, the reality of things and not hide it. So is there anything you can or you would like to share to help the audience, let's say, understand and help spread the word?
Well, a few key things is if your son or daughter is coming home and you notice they got a new jacket, maybe they got a new phone, they've got new clothes. If you didn't buy those things for them and they're not working, where did that come from?
Good point.
Right? If you get repeatedly told, oh, I borrowed it from a friend, you might want to dig a little deeper. Has your child gone from maybe 1 or 2 sleepovers a month to now it's 1 or 2 every week? Where are they going? Do you really know that they're at that friend's house? Are you calling a parent to find out if your child's there? Or you're just using the cell phones that you connect to your child with? Do you have the passwords for every app that's on your child's phone? Can you access it? Do you know if your child has more than one account?
Yeah. Did you actually talk maybe about human trafficking to your kids?
Yeah.
To be vigilant about it. There's so many apps and people... Maybe they're using their regular account, but the person that they're talking to is not who they think they are either.
Exactly, yeah. And it can be a taboo subject.
And there is an app it's called Calculator. So when you see the icon on your child's phone, it looks just like a calculator. You would think nothing of it, but that's where all their secret accounts are.
Really? You just taught me something I had no idea about.
So what's that?
Yeah.
What's that app?
It's called Calculator.
Calculator.
Okay.
It's not a calculator.
It's not. It's just a sort of, it's a face. So it's that little icon that you think is something else, but it's hiding a lot more.
It is. So I can tell you on our No Human Trafficking page on Facebook on the 11th, which was Internet Safer Day, we posted about these apps and what each one of them do and what you can look for as a parent or anybody else so that you know the dangers of these apps. So, but I think that, we are trying to spread a message to make the public aware. So that's why we started wrapping transports with messages. What's better than a rolling billboard? We're always stuck in traffic. We see them in the downtown cores. You see a truck everywhere they go. So what a better way to make the public understand. There is a lot of free training available online, even for parents, right? We need to learn. Stop thinking that this doesn't happen here in Canada. I hear that all the time when I go somewhere to speak on this topic. That doesn't happen here in Canada. Yes, it does. Most of the human trafficking survivors in Canada are domestic. They were born and raised right here in this country. 52% of the population that is taken for human trafficking is the Indigenous community. The human trafficking of boys is starting to climb up almost as the highest number as girls. So it's just not girls anymore. So we've got sex trafficking, we've got labor trafficking, and we're hearing more and more about baby trafficking.
Oh my gosh.
That's
scary. And I urge the listeners to, if ever you think something bizarre is happening, you have an inkling, something in the back of your mind is saying something's not right from what you're seeing, don't just do something, take some pictures, or because to me, you kind of always brush things off. You're shopping, you see people together, but there's always that little, like, trust your instincts.
Your inner feeling,
your inner feel, exactly.
Follow
you
it.
Think something is not right, just do something. Take a step. Ask the child, "Oh, is everything okay?" If you just feel like there's something.
The worst thing you can do is approach when there's a trafficker around. So the best thing to do is to take pictures, pictures of them. Try to hopefully that you can get a clear face shot. Are they in a vehicle? Try to get a picture of the vehicle and the license plate number, and then call the local police. If you think it's actually happening right in front of you, call 911. Tell them that you suspect this is a case of sex trafficking. And so they send out the appropriate police department, right? So not only do the police come, but they also bring somebody from victim services that can help the survivors.
That's great.
So that's a good tip.
Yeah.
Right. So it's things to really look for. But, if in doubt, make the call. I deal with law enforcements right across the country, right from local police to RCMP, and they all tell you it's not a waste of their time. If you think it's happening, make that 911 call. They'll go out and they'll make the call from there. But don't ever think that you're wasting their time.
No, that is a very important message also. So if people want to hear more, basically, or read more about human trafficking, where can they maybe contact you or go read about it?
On the knowhumantrafficking.com, we have a website, and that's know as in KNOW.
Oh, okay.
Very important.
Right. So, and we have a lot of valuable resources and connections to different organizations right across the country, and we're constantly adding more and more to the resource list. We also have a free training for professional drivers that you can pop on and take that course. And when you're done, you get a certificate of completion. That is actually survivors that are teaching that course.
Great.
I'm very, I often say that we reach out to survivor advocates because you want them to come tell their story. You want them to come do something for you. Pay them. Don't keep expecting them to do it for free.
No, great.
Right. So, that course has really taken off. We actually had a trucking industry person reach out and say that how much that course hit home for him, because the girl in the video actually went to school with his son and he never knew that it happened.
Wow.
So it struck a chord within him to make him want to do more because it hit home.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us about those so important subjects, honestly. So we invite people basically to follow also the Women Trucking Federation of Canada on Facebook. You also have
on their website as well, get more information.
Exactly. And don't be shy to ask and talk about it, honestly. And I think we have Shelley and her team, which is a great resource for people that want to reach out. And I'm really, honestly, proud to be a woman in the transportation industry, and I am thankful for you to have the voice of us behind it also.
Yes. Really. No, and we'll put all the information, all the links, any of your your website, your social. We'll put everything down for you guys to have access to it. And as Shelley said, just be involved. Don't forget to highlight the positive.
Exactly.
There's so much positive in the industry. And you know what? We mentioned it's like a big family. So join, you have questions, you want to learn more, just reach out. There's always someone on the other end that can answer your questions.
That's just it, right? So just reach out to us. We're glad to help you and direct you in the right way. We always have somebody reaching out asking about truck driving schools, or they're having an issue. I can't quite learn the manual. What do I do? I'm stuck. There's all kinds of resources and help that we have, regardless of where you are.
Great. Well, thank you for being with us today. It was a pleasure.
A real pleasure, yes.
We will reshare basically all of the links on our podcast and on our Facebook page also.
Yes. Thank you so much, Shelley.
Thank you, ladies.
Have a great day. Be safe.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. That was very interesting, basically, to have Shelley talking about us. And I don't know how to say this in English, mais ça me donne des frissons.
Yeah,
Goosebumps, right?
Goosebumps,
Yeah.
exactly. No, the subjects are real. From the human trafficking, which can hit home, it's very scary. It's something you never want to live through or
Have somebody you know live through that.
at all. But also just in general of the industry, it's nice to shed light for whether it's women or just in general. This industry is fantastic. I consider myself a newbie. You've been in it for so long, but I'm a newbie and I love it. There's so much information. There's so much in the future, like there's so much to do. And like I said, think beyond the truck. It's not only the truck.
It's not
There's
only
so
the
much
truck.
more. I mean, you're living proof right in front of me, Mel. So reach out, want to know some more information about this industry. It's fantastic. Join. There's so many opportunities. Look out for our shows.
The job fairs.
Job
also.
fairs.
And you're going to see it's funny because we're talking about women. In the job fairs, there's a lot of women. I would say there's maybe 40% of like people,
Attendees,
recruiters. Yeah. But
Oh,
not just-
recruiters. So the people behind
recruiters behind the desk that are there, that are talking to you. There are a lot of women in this industry, and maybe we don't consider them, but they are there. And it's people in industry, like you said, and like we always said, it's family, right? We share information, we talk, and we want to share our love and passion for the transport industry.
Yeah.
And I think we do it. Everybody does it.
Yeah. Because, I mean, On the Road Quebec does such a fantastic, as I said, job in Quebec. And we're trying to bring more light to the English speakers, whether it's across Canada or even the US or anywhere in the world that wants to tune in. We're going to be, covering subjects that we're going to make sure are very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Make people talk. And again, reach out to us, send us some subjects or people that you want to see on the podcast. We can have live guests on Zoom, so they could come from anywhere around the world.
So even if you're a truck driver that has a very nice experience, and we want this podcast to be a positive experience, to talk about the best times, how can I say this? Your best moments,
Yeah.
The best of. The trucking industry. Let's do it like this. But we want to make this positive, fun to hear about, but also be aware of stuff like we just talked about, human trafficking. We don't want this to be happening.
Nope.
And we want to be able to be the voice of maybe having this maybe you're going to listen to this and say, maybe I thought this was a sign.
Yeah.
And it should be talked about.
Yeah, you should talk about it. Just because it is a scary subject and you want to pretend it doesn't exist because it's easier that way, it's better to talk about it, better to make people aware of it. As you mentioned, even discussing it with your kids, having them know that this is how you stay safe.
Yeah.
This is how you can come to us for anything. It's so important. It is a subject, honestly, like you said, it gives you shivers. Because it can hit home and you don't want it to. So we're going to do our job to get the word across. Shelley is there, her organization as well. So yeah, that's, I think, for the first podcast of On the Road Trucking.
Officially,
yeah.
Officially, I think the best podcast. We did so far.
We did so far.
Exactly. Do it like that.
I like it. That's your marketing
So
side.
we really hope that you're going to be following us. Honestly, like we said previously, you can follow us on Facebook, On the Road Trucking. If you're already following On the Road Quebec, you can just hop in. We're going to share the links there. If you have ideas of podcasts, if you have ideas of people, or if you want to maybe talk in our podcast, contact us.
Yes. And I wanted to say, you mentioned something about if you're trucker or just in the industry and want to share a good, positive story, I kind of think it'd be cool if you send us a quick video. We'll feature you on the page. With your permission, of course. But it's a great way to highlight some of the people in the industry that want to share some messages, some positivity. Women, men, anyone. We're open to hearing your messages. Send us a DM.
Yeah, that would be great. I think that's actually a really good idea. Let's put this page through positive vibes.
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you, Rima, for co-animating this first podcast. Very excited.
Yes.
And we will be back on doing another podcast in about 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. And we're going to be here once a month, right? So
That's right. So thank you, Mel.
Thank you.
This was fun, I have to say. And hopefully you all enjoyed it. And again, thanks to On the Road Quebec to have created this English version on the road trucking. So we're here to have some fun. I think this is our first one. Might be a little rusty, but we're going to have some fun. So keep tuning in. Keep tuning in.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Be safe on the roads, and we will be talking to you shortly.
Perfect.